The Gates of Camino.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Younger, more beautiful, more perfect. One single injection unlocks your DNA, starting a new cellular division that will release another version of yourself. This is The Substance.
No, it's straight podcast, and even the YouTube I get takes it directly, so it's just a graphic that's up. So,
Oh, okay. Well, then I didn't need to take a shower.
oh no, that's what I was saying. I was like, no, you can be scuzzy. Oh, all good, all good.
All right.
Well, welcome back. It's been like a year and a half or so since we did our last episode, or something like that. 2 years.
It's been a while. Glad to be back, and always great to hear from you again. Although I just saw you.
Well, we went to see The Substance the other night, and I think we were both went through an experience on that one.
It was pretty unexpected. I wasn't planning on that. It was quite the spectacle.
It was, and so we'll set the stage for everyone. We got an invite to go to the DGA for the LA premiere of it, so they had the whole red carpet thing. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid, the director, everyone was there, and there was other different stars there. The stars were out that night.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to see them. I got to talk to who was the dad from that '70s show.
Yeah, that's right.
He asked me
right at you
how to get in the building, so I showed him where the door was. And then Leah Thompson came up and she asked me the same thing, and I showed her where the door was. So I feel like I contributed.
I know all the '80s legends were coming right at you.
They probably felt some symbiosis with me, or some sort of comfort level with another gray-haired dude with a jacket on.
And then behind us, whenever we took our seat, was Gillian Anderson from the X-Files.
She looked great. I initially didn't recognize her because, of course, she didn't have the Scully red hair, but she looked fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And we hadn't even realized the one woman we saw. So it was directed by Coralie Farge was her name. And remember, we thought she was one of the actresses in the movie.
She was up there giving interviews. She was up there giving extensive interviews up there, so she was pretty comfortable in front of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it was. I don't know what. I mean, should we jump right in? I mean, what you?
Oh yeah. It was. We watched at the DGA, and it's probably one of the best theaters you could watch a movie in. Like you said too, the sound there is just incredible, and that's really what stood out with this movie too. Was just the sound design. It was just so like insane in your ear.
The sound was outrageous. I mean, it was probably better than Dune. I mean, it was really impressive.
Oh man, yeah, and so to give a little bit of a background on the movie. So Demi Moore is a faded celebrity. She had her time. She's a Walk of Fame star, but now she's doing like Jane Fonda workout videos. And Dennis Quaid's the producer of the network. She overhears him in the bathroom saying they need to get a new younger girl to spice things up. And so she's out in her luck. She gets in a car wreck right after that. She ends up in the hospital, and somebody slips her a note. And one of the guys working at the hospital slips her a note and says, "This changed my life." And it was this black market drug. She calls the number, and it just basically temporarily lets you create a younger version of herself. And that's what she does. Margaret Qualley is the character who becomes Sue, who's the younger version.
Yeah, I mean, how many spoilers do you want to give away?
Oh, we won't tell specifically because it's still a new movie is coming into the theater. By the time we release this, it'll probably be in October. So, it'll be in the theaters or whatever. So we won't give away too much, but we can give away some that, you'll see in the trailer or whatever.
Yeah, the basic storylines. But, I mean, I would say that, visually it was also striking. It looks like it was shot anamorphic.
Yeah.
And so it's really spectacular framing. I mean, their DP did a really nice job, or the director telling the DP, however it worked. And then I thought the use of the extreme macro close-ups was really effective.
Yeah, and then they went kind of wide angle on those crazy close-ups, especially of Dennis Quaid.
Oh my, Dennis Quaid when he was in the bathroom.
He's fucking awesome in it. And Quaid
He
wasn't
was
sitting too far
fantastic
from
at
us
it.
either.
Yeah, he looked great too. He looked really good. And speaking of aging, he's aged quite well. He's
Yeah,
matured
yeah.
nicely.
Fresh off his Ronald Reagan role.
Yeah, Demi looked good. I mean, she
Yeah,
looked
she
great. We
did.
saw her from afar up on the stage, but she looked fantastic. She looked
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, they all look really good. And
Um,
but the movie definitely didn't disappoint. Like I will say this, it's getting a lot of hype right now. A lot of people are talking about it, but the only thing I say is the only pushback I'll give on it is for especially eight, because it's a horror movie. That's how it's being, pubbed, like a body horror movie, kind of like a David Cronenberg movie.
it's
So
definitely that.
yeah, and absolutely. But if you are a horror fan, you're definitely not going to be pushed to the limit, I mean, you've seen it before if you're a hardcore horror fan. But if you're just into dramas and you're into these stars that are in this movie and you're kind of just want to watch a good thriller, you're going to be freaked out in the movie.
Yeah, I don't think it wasn't terrifying, like in the sense of like you're going down to the basement and bad things are going to happen to you. But it was incredibly uncomfortable with some of the scenes. I mean, they were just they're just grotesque. Some of
Yeah,
them were
the
just
only time I was
really,
really
really, really. I mean, you could just feel everybody in the audience was just really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I tell you that the most like uneasy I was, like the hardest I got like a little bit jolted in my seat was that car wreck. Because it's at the beginning, we're not giving anything away. This is what kind of sets her up. But she gets in this car wreck, but that sound and just how like you're skidding around with her for like good 10 seconds, I was like, God damn, that was tough.
They they got me on that one. They got me. I didn't see that one coming. So
Even the audience, you could tell was like, oh shit.
yeah, it's hard to sneak up on us anymore. But that one was well done, really well done. No, I mean the director, she did a fantastic job. I mean it was well directed and well framed, and I think we talked about it was maybe a little bit long at the end.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting what people think about the last act. If they think it goes on too much, or if it's enough, or if it's a too over the top, or it's tough when you go with these type of movies when it's just getting worse and worse, and then you got to kind of figure out a way to give it some type of climax, or it doesn't work. So
Yeah, they kind of. I think if it had been just a little shorter, it probably would have been fine. But I mean, I see from the story point why she had to do what she did. But I guess I don't.
man, without giving anything away, it turned into like a Japanese horror movie at the end with like some of the blood spraying. I was like, holy shit! Like I did love it, but I was like, this is a lot. But Demi Moore fucking goes for it though. I mean, that's insane. Like she takes. I mean, there's crazy full frontal in this, and it's like, holy shit! Like they all went for it, and it's better off for it.
Demi's performance was outstanding, and nudity aside, I mean, she looks
No, I
physically,
agree.
she
It was
looked
my
great,
favorite of the year, actually.
and we could probably talk about the male gaze and the difference between this director and how a guy would have shot it. But
No, that's what you
Demi's
said when we
act,
were watching it. That's exactly what you said when we were watching it. Was a guy director and a woman director on this is like the whole difference of this movie.
yeah, I mean, I think that was really interesting. But Demi, her acting was just, I mean, she was really, really fantastic. I mean, really, I mean,
Especially
really,
when
really
she was
good.
getting the makeup slowly more and more put on her and all this shit's happening to her. She was fucking awesome.
Well, even at the end, you could kind of, I don't want to give
Oh,
it away, but you could barely see her,
but it's her
and
face.
but you could see her eyes, and she was just acting with her eyes. It was fantastic.
Man, yeah, that which I thought was going to be the original ending was whenever like shit's going crazy in the apartment. It was really funny too. Like for being, it was but just a great movie. It was a really good. I guess I'd say it's a horror movie, wouldn't you? I'd say it's a horror flick.
Definitely definitely on the thriller horror side. I mean, I don't think you could call it it's not to call it a dark comedy is not enough.
Yeah, I know. Even though Quaid, man, fucking killed it.
Quaid he was great. And the subtext, I really enjoyed the subtext of aging in Hollywood, women's
Hmm.
body issues. I think that's particularly relevant these days, and I thought it was really brave of Demi to put herself out there like that.
Yeah, no, she did, and like it got a lot of a lot of hype at Cannes. It won the best screenplay, and everyone was talking about it. And that's when I first heard about it. When you get these invites to some of these premieres, you just don't want to go because you're like, I don't know if I want to see this movie or anything like that. But when we got this, I was like, oh man, I want to see this so bad. And Mubi put it out there, the streaming app Mubi. And so I was very optimistic about it. I thought it was going to be pretty good, and it definitely lived up to the hype, though. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a fun film. I mean, but it certainly had a lot of uncomfortable moments in it.
Oh man, I know. So I kind of at first I wasn't sure if I was going to want to watch it again, but like a couple days gone by now, I feel like I could sit through it again.
I mean, I'll watch it again just for the camera work. I mean, I thought the use of the anamorphics, go down the hallways, the framing of, I mean, there'd be a lot going on in a scene with that super wide format, and it really, I thought it was really effective. As I mean, some people, I guess it's kind of cachet to shoot anamorphic, but I think they really leveraged the power of that wide frame really well.
Hmm. No, absolutely. I thought it looked great. It definitely looked great. I think most of the crew was French. I don't think there were too many. I think it was pretty much all a French crew. The DP, I think, was French too, wasn't he? When they announced everybody at the beginning.
It seemed like most of the key people were French, so
And the score was good. It was just very like house techno-y. Like it kind of added to the sound design. So it was just always like boom, 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 constantly. It was just like, God damn, a lot of anxiety watching it.
yeah, and it was nice to see they got away from. I mean, I said Dune earlier, but that bomb. You hear that over and over again all the time now. They didn't do that, which was nice, or they had a different twist on it. But it was nice to get a different soundtrack than the blasting horns or whatever that is.
Right. No, that was pretty good with the music. Yeah, I think we sat pretty close off to the side. I would like to get a good view of it, like straight on, and get more into the visuals of it. I felt like that was the only thing when you go to the DGA. It's always nice to get up front so you can see a lot of things, when they're talking, but you kind of miss the movie a little bit.
How'd you feel about Margaret Qualley?
In the movie, she's amazing. I think it might have been one of her best performances. I do like her. I've liked her since Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I've always liked her. So but seeing her in person, she seemed very strange. I'm sorry, I have to say this. Everybody on stage seemed very lively. But it just seemed like she was very, in her own world. Even when they were escorting her off the stage, back to her seat, she was just like, seemed like it was just 100 yard stare.
It's got to be. I mean, obviously the nudity is going to be a big thing for people to see this, but it's got
They
to be
sat through a few screenings.
it's got to be strange to be in that position to wwhere everybody's essentially seeing you in a very familiar, intimate way. And
Demi Moore's three daughters were there.
yeah, it did seem to bother
give
Demi
a
at all.
fuck.
I mean, I don't know what you're right. Margaret did seem a little uncomfortable up there, but I thought in the movie she was great. I mean,
Oh,
she
she
really had some
was.
good
She nailed
moments,
it.
and she played her part really, really well, and really good acting on her part, which was nice to see. I mean, I think this is definitely going to take her to bigger
Oh,
places.
100%,
I mean,
100%. And
she'll get some big roles after this, which will
yeah,
be fun to
and it
see what she
doesn't.
does with them.
Right. It doesn't give anything away, but like what makes these two so good together is you take this drug and it gives you a younger version of yourself, but you only get 7 days with that younger version. Then you have to go back to your old version for 7 days. And they keep reminding her you're one person, you're not two people. And that's really where the conflict comes. These two people end up hating each other. Her younger and older self hate each other. And it's amazing. And that's where the movie starts going nuts.
Oh, the psychology underneath it was great. I mean, the whole self-loathing stuff, and you got to wonder if a lot of actresses or actors feel that way. I mean, their image is it's how they make their living, and
100%. And I don't think she would have done the movie if she didn't feel that way, Demi Moore.
we interviewed an aging actress for that documentary I'm working on, and I showed her pictures of her from the time when she made the film that we were working on or doing the documentary about. And I could just see her looking at it going, I mean, I don't think she wanted to see those pictures. So I have a feeling this film's really going to resonate in some harsh ways for a lot of people in Hollywood.
Yeah, I hope it comes a
We're right to
classic.
the
Yeah.
core of what it is to be an actor, how they feel about their image.
Right. There's a lot of movies that try to go after this subject, right? The aging actress and how we look at image and everything. But this one goes fucking berserk with it. I've well, when the movie
Oh, that's
ended,
for
everyone's
sure.
clapping, but we were both like, God damn, that was a fucking experience. But they told you
I was
before the movie
exhausted.
started.
I was exhausted.
I was too.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking nuts. This is nuts. So I looked up the director to see what she did before this. And she worked a little bit on that TV show, The Sandman. It was like that. I don't know if it was like a comic book movie, not a comic, it was a TV series, but it was based off a comic book. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Okay.
that.
I didn't see
Um,
that one.
it was on Netflix, but she was one of the she was a director on that. And then she had a movie I've never seen called Revenge that came out like a few years back, before the pandemic. She did a movie
Yeah,
called Revenge.
I would watch the trailer on that.
Oh, you
And
did? How'd that look? I didn't see anything.
well, I want to see her do a version of John Wick. I mean, I think she's going to be she's potentially a big action director. I mean, they should give her some big action movies,
I think she
and
likes
she's
horror
got an eye
though.
for it. Well, she's got an eye for expressing violence
Oh,
in the way.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like just even like the when like they're fighting at the end, like it's pretty good, fight choreography that's going on.
No, I think I think she should do a John Wick movie. So, maybe they should give her one of the next editions of it.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of this year hasn't had a lot, or I haven't seen a lot, but I mean, this definitely stood out as like probably my favorite in theater, one this year, I think. I don't know how you felt about that.
It is definitely the most stimulating one I've seen.
Yeah. I forgot to tell you, I was looking up just facts about the movie. I don't know if you saw this or not, but did you know that before Dennis Quaid had that part, it was actually cast Ray Liotta before he died?
I saw that on IMDb, and what a different movie that would be.
Fuck. I know. I know.
But I love Dennis Quaid so much in it. I don't know if I'd want to see. I mean, obviously
I
I'd see the other movie, but
agree.
Dennis was so good at it that I just I really liked his character. Well, I hated his character, but
Oh,
he
he's such
played.
a great scuzzball.
He's such a sleaze. I mean, he's
When he's eating the
fantastic.
shrimp and it's all over his mouth and
Oh
hands, I was
God, it
like,
was
God
disgusting.
damn, that's just gross.
It was disgusting. I'm trying to think of who's used a wide angle like that before. A wide angle close up like that is it
Yeah,
was
I mean,
really it was really unpleasant, especially when he was
it was when he was taking a leak
flopping those
talking shit.
shrimps
That was
around.
really funny.
When he was you're right, when he was eating that lunch and the shrimps just flopping around, and you're just like, it was just stomach churning.
I know, I know. I couldn't handle that. I couldn't handle that at all. Any other things stand out with you in the movie at all? I'm trying to think of things.
Yeah, well, you're right. The ending kind of escalates into like you're almost like a Tarantino-esque bloodbath, and or I don't know, Japanese horror is probably a good
Super
one
crazy,
too.
yeah.
I mean, it was pretty outrageous. But really, I mean, for me, the acting was great. The visuals were fantastic. The visuals, the camera work, and the sound design. I guess beyond just the score, the actual sound effects
Yeah, the sound effects
really had an
totally got
impact. I
me.
mean, they really did a good job on that. Like
And
whether it's
speaking of
smacking
cinema,
his lips to eat the shrimp or
oh,
whatever,
that was
it
awesome.
was just
But every
disgusting.
time there was a head pound, it always just was times 100. It was like,
Yeah,
God damn, it was tough. But talking about cinematography, you know what I also liked a lot? It really had a bunch of different looks and where she was at. Like when she was in her apartment, it was this dark, almost noir lighting at times. And then when she's, regardless of what version of her, when she was doing the aerobic show, it was always like bubblegummy and Barbie looking, and they always had like a different. I really liked the way it looked in different areas of the movie.
yeah, they kept it moving visually and just the pacing of it. It was really really well done. Really excellent, excellent.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait. This one comes out and check it out again.
Where's it? They had some great taglines on it. I'm looking at IMDb. If you follow the instructions, what could go wrong?
Yeah. So,
So
but also you were when we were standing there in line and we saw Margaret Qualley, your wife was saying that it was Andy McDowell's daughter, and if anyone doesn't know that, who
I didn't know that, but you and Lynette both knew that. So
yeah, yeah. So yeah, she's been around for.
Well,
She's
she's
born
stepping
into
up
it.
there. I mean, she's good. She's clearly worthy.
Oh yeah, no, she's. I don't really believe too much in like the nepo thing. I mean, everything that does exist in a way, but if you're talented, it's like who the fuck isn't going to take a break when it's in front of them? I certainly would.
Oh, sure, sure. And
But she earned
if
it,
they
yeah, for sure.
if they don't have talent, it shows pretty quick.
Yeah, they get outed right away if you suck. You get the couple good breaks, and then you're done for.
No, she'll be on her way now for sure. I mean, she was great in Once Upon a Time and some of the other stuff she's done, but this one should really vault her into a lead from now on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just it really feels like like we were saying, it's like a Cronenberg movie that he didn't make, and it definitely when it comes to body horror, if someone's really into that stuff, it'll be a pretty easy watch for them. But it's like if you're not ready for that, it's you're fucked.
it's pretty it's pretty uncomfortable.
I mean, the poster, you see it with like the back being sewed up. So
Oh
it's
God,
like
yeah.
when she
Oh, I
was
forgot
sewing
about
that
that.
back, though, and like you just hear the sound perfectly going through the needle, going through the skin. Everybody in
And
the theater was like, ugh.
the macro stuff was so good. The macro close-ups of this of that in particular. Well, they use the macro lens just amazingly well. So really,
Hmm.
really masterful use of everything. I mean, it was clicking on every level, I think.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I mean, it was definitely a good time. We've been to screenings at the DGA, but that was the first time I've been to a premiere at the DGA. And I think, and we were even saying, I kind of like the layout better because we didn't have to wait in line like you do on regular screenings there and all that stuff. And so we ate at the Indian restaurant across the street and just waited till it opened up.
Yeah, the red carpet's always a little bit fun to watch too, just to see a little glitz and glamour.
Oh yeah, yeah. Who was our first star we saw on there? Oh, Frances Farmer. That's right.
Prince Pearl and Tia
Oh, Tia Carrera, because she
Tia
came and
Chris.
she stood in line with us, remember? And then
Yeah.
like all of a sudden she
Well,
goes,
she stood near us in line. She wasn't
"Well,
actually in
right, yeah,
line with
yeah.
us,
Sorry,
but
that's right. She didn't come up to you either and talk like the rest of them, but
no, no, I would have though.
yeah, yeah, it was kind of cool seeing a bunch of different people there to watch it. I was hoping Bruce was going to show up. Remember that one guy looked just like him for a second? We are like, no, Bruce couldn't have came to this.
It did. He looked a lot like him, but it wasn't him. So it would have been neat to see him, but I guess they're probably not. He probably doesn't go out very much.
Yeah, yeah. He probably doesn't give a fuck about this either.
But,
Who does?
anyway,
Who does?
I highly recommend the movie as long as you got a strong stomach. I think it was definitely a good film.
Yeah, that's all really it is. If you can just sit through it, and it's a little bit longer than you think it's going to be. It's like 2.5 hours long. I mean, which I'm fine with, but like, it is a horror movie still. So sometimes when it keeps going and going, you're like, oh shit, it does go on for a bit. I don't want to complain about the length though of the movie. Some people do. I
Yeah,
just,
I mean, that'd be my only comment on it. My only everything else was fantastic. So
I'd like to see it again. A better, straight on seat, and see how it goes. But might have to wait too for video. Who knows? I say video streaming, whatever.
well, maybe we'll get over. We'll go. We could take Liam to see it.
He should watch it. It'd be good for his education.
Uh,
It's coming out in theaters here in a couple days. So once this episode comes out, it'll be out for a while now. So because it'll probably take
we'll
me a
go.
couple weeks to get this up.
Well, people should go see it in a theater. Go see it in the movies.
Yeah, you need, or at least like, perfect surround sound if you have it at your home, but you definitely should go see it and, have
Well, it's fun to
have
see
a
it with a
proper
crowd too,
environment.
because everybody gasps and everybody kind of shares in the horror.
I agree. I would like to see it with a crowd that's not connected though. It was a premiere, so everybody was kind of on their best, for it. But I like to see it with a bunch of strangers who know nothing about it. They're just going in to watch a horror flick, and I want to see how they kind of react to it.
That would be fun. And I wonder how the next generation is going to receive the nudity, because it's I feel like films have been kind of a little bit prudish in the last
They
decade or
have
so.
been.
And I think it's going to be that part's going to be really uncomfortable for a lot of people, just because they're
Oh, there's going to be
we've gone
Americans.
back to our gone back to our Victorian roots here in America.
Yeah,
so,
and people are going to say that about it now. Thank God it's a French movie. It's a French director, and she got him through it all. And fuck, absolutely. Somebody in America
there's no way an American male director could have made this. It had to be a French female. I think is the only way it could have gotten done.
Yeah, I don't even think an American female could have done this. This definitely had very comfortable. The nudity was very comfortable.
The Europeans just don't give a shit, So it's really it's not such a big deal to them.
Yeah, and it really is just their show, the 3 stars. There's a lot of supporting characters all throughout, but they just kind of come and go for like a scene or so, and then they're gone. But it's really, besides Dennis Quaid, it really is just this.
It's
this
the two women.
Between the two women. Yeah,
it's great, and the two sides of a coin.
Yeah, it's fucking creepy. It really is. I mean, you see where it's going right away. Obviously, it's like with the division, and that's like the very beginning. All they keep saying is, "Remember, you're only one," or something like that. It just fucking gets crazy as hell.
You think there's any chance of Demi pulling off an Oscar out of it?
It's my favorite performance of the year from anybody, male or female. I wish she would, maybe because it's kind of getting a little bit of prestige. It's not just a horror movie. She sure as fuck should.
It's got to be one of her best. I think it's probably her best performance.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think so. I was trying to rack my brain of like Demi movies, from like a Decent Proposal and all that shit from the 90s, and I'm like, this is really her best performance. I think so. She was spectacular. So we're pulling for you, Demi. We are, man. I fucking hope she wins. It does deserve something, and it's always
at least a nomination.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always nice to see horror movies doing well. I don't know if there'll be much love for our boy Dennis, because he's, he went kind of Republican and did the Reagan movie, and people are hating on him.
True, but he could definitely best supporting. He was definitely there for that.
He almost steals the movie. If it wasn't so gross and crazy, he would have stolen it. It's like he's that good. Quaid is fucking awesome in this.
He's so good. I think they're all good. So
it's a good watch.
It.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll check it out again.
You got it. I'll be there.
People always ask for something new. It's inevitable. At 50, well, it stops.
Have you ever dreamt of a better version of yourself? Younger, more beautiful, more perfect. One single injection unlocks your DNA and will release another version of yourself. This is the substance.
I'm Sue.
You're hired.
Let's go.
A perfect balance of 7 days each. The one and only thing not to forget. You are one. You can't escape from yourself.
There's been a slight misuse of the substance.
This balance is not working.
Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop? Would you like to stop?
I'm fine. Everything's fine. You have to
Cut! Bro,